Good morning. Good morning. What's up, folks? How's everybody doing this morning? Hope you're having an excellent week so far. It is Thursday, September 26th. JTW from the Xtrades Analyst team coming at you with another FOMO live stream here this morning. So, hope you guys are ready to dig in and get to some trade planning, get ready for the day, and get ready to close out our week strong on a good foot. A lot of our plans have played out well so far, especially Nvidia is absolutely flying right now through our price targets. Also seeing some other setups that have played out well, so we'll get to all those. We'll do a little bit of market discussion, and of course we will be doing some new ticker requests. So if you guys have those, feel free to drop those in the chats at any point in time, and I will get to them as we kind of progress through our agenda for this morning. So with that, I got one window I wanted to get to take a look. Okay, so today is the day that we have a number of Fed speakers starting at about 9:10 Eastern Standard Time, and with Jerome Powell supposed to be making some remarks at 9:20, so about 10 minutes out from market open. So that'll be quite interesting to see how the market reacts to that right before we go into the cash trading session. And then we do have Fed speakers continuing all the way up through 1 p.m. this afternoon. So keep that in mind. The market could react and make quick moves. It could be violent chop today, depending on what some of these speakers say and how closely the market is going to be tuned into some of them. I would expect it's going to be listening pretty closely to everything that each of them says, especially on the back of that 50 basis points rate decrease that we saw earlier this month. So I think the market will be looking for signs of why they felt 50 was the right number when the consensus was certainly 25 basis points. So, pay attention, keep your heads on a swivel, I guess is the long story short, as we go into the trading day today, because that is going to be these catalysts are going to be kind of sprinkled throughout the day. So we're never really going to truly be out of the woods. So just be ready, keep your stops tight, and make sure that you're prepared for some extra volatility throughout the day today that could come kind of at unpredictable points in time, depending on what some of these folks may get up and say. So with that being said, let's take a look at how things are looking market wide with regards to, or through the lens of ES, I should say. ES making new all-time highs here. 58.2850 is the current reading. We're bumping up right against that, pulled back off of it a little bit after breaking over this previous all-time high print that took us up to 57.97. So looking pretty strong. I do have a confluence of some fib extensions that were laid out in the past, and I do want to go back and revisit some of these fib extensions to see if I might need to make some adjustments to them. But I do note this confluence of fib extensions up here, all kind of bumping up around this 58.40, potentially as high as 58.50. So keep that range and watch for a potential spot to look to maybe add some hedges or secure profits on some of your long positions. We certainly could see a pullback as we hit that sort of cluster of fib extensions that are all sitting there together, with another one again kind of up a little bit higher, closer to 58.50. So just keep that little range and watch as far as ES goes. Set some alerts on your charts to let you know when you might need to be paying attention and getting ready to scale out on some of those trades that you might be riding to the upside as the market continues to look quite bullish as we go to finish out the month of September and start up the last quarter of the year going into October, November, and December. All right, so let's get to some of our trade plan recaps. Let's talk about how these are playing out. We'll start with Nvidia, which is looking fantastic right now. This one really got going once the announcement was made that Jensen Huang has finished his planned sale of his shares of Nvidia, wrapped that up a few months in advance. And then once the market heard about that, also not forgetting that they did announce a very large stock buyback at their most recent earnings report. It made this huge rally move off of our stop loss average down from the call side trade plan that we published Sunday evening. Big move off of that all the way up to PT1, PT2 plus, kind of topped out at 121.83. Didn't make it all the way to PT3, but PT3 was hit the following day, yesterday morning, right after the open. I talked about this looking like that was going to happen pretty early into the trading day yesterday. And then what do we see from there? Well, we saw a push higher and then a back test of PT3 as support. So flipping that key resistance level to support now. Great sign, which is why we see NVIDIA with another small gap up and pushing through some more key levels. This 126.51 was a previous, you know what? No, it wasn't. I remember why I made this a solid line. It's because I wanted to pay attention for this to potentially close out the short calls that I have sold against my NVIDIA shares kind of near that peak yesterday. Trying to keep this, options for premium collection in play, but at the same time not letting this get too far away from me, because I can always wait and sell those same contracts and collect even more premium and make up any small losses that may come from these bumps along the way. But seems to be fighting with this 126.51. It's not seeing a really strong confirmed breakout that I've seen yet, so keep this on watch. I think if it does break over this level, we could see it continue much higher. But overall, our plan on it, that stop loss average down, caught that last little dip before the absolute rocket took off and is heading for the moon at this point. So keep your eyes on NVIDIA. It does look very strong. It can definitely carry the markets quite a bit. Lots of anticipation for their Blackwell chip coming out. So NVIDIA has a lot of positive catalysts in play at the moment. Does look a little overheated to me at the moment, being quite a bit overextended off some of these moving averages, even on the smaller time frames. But again, if it's what is overbought can stay overbought, especially in bullish market conditions. So NVIDIA looking great, and all targets hit and then some, with a opportunity to get back in if you caught this back test of PT3 there at 122.58. That was another perfect little dip before we ripped higher. Tesla was also on our member selected tickers from the previous from this past weekend. We talked about this one on Tuesday. This one just moved entirely too fast out of the gates on Monday. So we did talk about this Tuesday kind of being just totally blown away. Never really saw a great back test of PT3 after we took a look at it. And this one's continuing to gap up and push higher. So Tesla looking really strong right now. But unfortunately, this one was just a untradeable plan, in my opinion, just based on the fact that the majority of the moves were made within the first, 15 minutes of Monday, and it was even pretty good ways or pretty good distance toward, or pretty close to PT1. In fact, it was at PT1 plus before we even got to market open where we could do anything about this from an options standpoint. So sometimes that happens. That's I guess the one drawback of putting these plans together on a Sunday evening, is you just never really know what pre-market Monday and going into open will have in store for you. But overall, it was just not a tradable plan, and that's okay. That happens sometimes. Lunar, this one does continue to back test and reject 809, so still looking like a pretty decent short candidate. Does have the 200 SMA here on the hourly starting to catch up, bringing some confluence down there at 716, along with that strong buying pressure area of Neptune, really kind of matching up with the key buying pressure level right here at the moment. So we could see this pull back and get a test of 716 here potentially. I think the market has kept this one afloat so far, which has kept it from pulling back and actually hitting our target. But it hasn't even broken back above 809, even with as strong as the market has been. So kind of still looking for this one to make that pullback and test this 716. I would certainly scale out heavy at 716 and move stops up aggressively, because we certainly could see a bounce there based on some of these confluences that we have setting up on Lunar. And then Tuesday on our live stream, we did Next Era Energy. This one's just consolidated. It's been a sideways trader since we did our trade plan for it. So really kind of nothing to see here. Just a reminder that we're waiting for that break below 83.65 to play for these potential downside targets, or a break above. And I don't know why I let that get so off the mark. Over 86.79, we're looking for push to the upside with those PTs 1, 2, and 3 there. So Next era, again, kind of a sideways mover, sideways consolidator, nothing to see here. And then Pinduoduo, we talked about this one, or PDD Holdings is what it is now. So we did this plan here Tuesday. We were looking for a break over 108.92 for these upside price targets to start hitting. We broke out over that. Didn't get quite to PT1 there. And let's look at this on smaller time frames so we can take a look at it a little bit more clearly. So we did get the breakout here Tuesday morning. I'm sorry, this is Tuesday. Let me move this back. This is really when this plan goes into effect, so it's easier to pay attention to. So we get our confirmed break right there, right, pushing higher, gave us a back test there yesterday pre-market. So if you didn't get in on this opportunity heading into this trading day, could have been a decent chance. There was still lots of room up to PT1 off this back test. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you. And also, folks, if you're here, if you're in the mix, please feel free to say good morning. Would love to hear from you. Also, start dropping those ticker requests in the chat so I know what we're going to work on as soon as we wrap up this Pinduoduo trade plan that we're going to review. So get those ticker requests in so we know what trade plans to look at as we go into the trading day today and to close out the week and possibly even swing into next week. Let me know what you guys want to take a look at. We'll put together some more banger plans for you here on this morning's live stream. So going back to our Pinduoduo, our PDD Holdings review, again, confirmed break here Tuesday after we did our plan for it. Another back test there pre-market yesterday, pushing higher and then totally mooning, gapping up through PTs 1, 2, and testing PT3. In fact, trying to flip it to support here. So this one, make sure that you guys scaled this one out at the open if you're in this. It was a great breakout. You had a couple of opportunities to get in. Huge move from 108.92 all the way up to 126.70 in just a couple of trading days. This one's an absolute money printer. I hope you guys are riding it and banking on it handsomely. All right, so with that being said, we've got Paul in the Discord chat wanting to take a look at MU. We can take a look at that. They just reported earnings last night. Those earnings were, I believe, received pretty positively, which is probably why we've got NVIDIA moving up and the market moving up as a whole. I did take a quick look at it shortly after they reported, and it was definitely pushing to the upside, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's going to stay as far as post-earnings move goes. Let's take a look at this. All right, so yeah, big move off that yesterday. Let's see what TradingView says the numbers looked like. Pretty not amazing beats on either side, but you know, a beat on both sides nonetheless. Also would be interested to get some recaps. Let's see if this mentions anything in there about their conference call. Okay, gonna build a US chip making plant. That's good news. So yeah, larger than expected profit, and also I think the plan to build a US-based chip making facility, that's probably going to bode very well for them, especially with some of the kind of geopolitical tensions around AI that are taking place. The US is going to continue to, I think, put pressure on US chip makers to build their chips in the US. To make sure that our technology is not being stolen or borrowed by foreign entities. So let's see if we can't figure out how we would want to play this one for continuation. Let me get my chart kind of cleaned up here real quick. You guys know that that's generally where I like to start. Get as much noise off of here as possible. All right, so let's take a look at Micron. We're gonna have to go back a bit. It is running up against these couple of levels here between 111.74 and 12.61. So this is kind of our current resistance. I want to keep that on watch. Not saying that'll be our entry, but I want to keep that on watch as I go back and look through some of this recent price action that we've seen on Micron. What's up, Sitaru? Good morning to you. Crowd, we'll take a look at it for you. Sitaru chiming in the YouTube chat. Guys, remember, we are running these streams on YouTube as well. So make sure that you are joining those via YouTube, or letting your friends who aren't Xtrades Discord members know that they can join us on the YouTube side of things. Totally free of charge. We'll hopefully give them a little bit of a idea of what we do here at Xtrades, and hopefully we'll convince them that this is where they can come and grow themselves and their skill set as a trader, and become not only a beneficiary of all the things that we provide as far as alerts and trade plans go in Xtrade, but also become a beneficiary of, I think, the really fantastic kind of educational structure that we have that helps people learn to trade themselves, learn to plan for themselves, and become self-sufficient. And ultimately, the goal is to make everybody a contributor to the Xtrades community. You can work your way up the ranks, and you can begin to participate in the monthly payouts that we push out to those who make it to some of the upper echelons of our trading community. So please, if you haven't given us a chance, come check it out. We do have free trials, all that good stuff. All right, so what I'm looking at here on Micron is I think we're looking for, whoops, this is going to be our stop loss average down. This, I don't think, is the key level to break. I think the one that we really want to break to look for continuation is this 114.07 level. We can set our stop loss there at 111.74. First target, I'm looking at this kind of flip of support to resistance. It takes place right around in here. Let me take a look at this on a slightly higher time frame though. Yeah. So I like this as a first target. Up here at 118.31. Over that already kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. 121.93. And over that I'm looking at 124.59, but let's take a look. I want to see this more recent run through that area of support and resistance. See how that shapes up here. We could potentially go for one level above here at PT2, but I don't want to be greedy. This will already be a very profitable trade by the time we get to 121.93. So I'm going to actually leave that, even though I think this second price target could be slightly higher there at 123.15. Over that, again, this is one where it could be kind of two different targets. And in both cases, it's this one blue resistance over, right? I think there's potential for PT3 to really be up here at 127.32 and PT2 to be at 123.15. But, again, just kind of sticking to my rules and what has worked well for me over the span of almost 10 years of trading. When in doubt, I always shoot one level more conservative to make sure that I'm securing profits often, and I'm not getting too greedy. Just kind of helps me maintain my discipline, if you will. So I like how that upside plan's shaped up. We'll talk about it in detail in just a moment. Downside, let's see, where does downside really start to get interesting? We could have a level right. Yeah, we do have a level right in here that I think looks good for potential downside entry. One other word of advice or caution, however you'd like to, frame that. Generally speaking, a lot of traders, and something that I certainly try to adhere to unless I see kind of a really interesting opportunity, is 3-day rule, right? 3 days after an earnings report, you generally want to let the dust settle, let profits be taken from if it was a big move to the upside, and try to catch the pullbacks, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's been a long-standing thing. It's not something I made up, as far as maybe giving things 3 days to sort of shake out, let the dust settle after an earnings report, which is a pretty major catalyst for any ticker that we would be trading. The exceptions to those would be, if we see like really good beat and a good earnings call, but for some reason the stock price sells off, that's when I kind of maybe look to like buy the dip. because it's, it's kind of a head scratcher as to why things sold off. But again, even those opportunities, I keep things small, and it's pretty few and far between that I pull the trigger on something like that. Again, I'm more of a patient, let the trade come to me type of a approach, and overall that has served me well in the bigger picture. So I like this 104.84 level down there. PT1 for puts, second price target pretty clearly 101.78, and then I think we're looking down here to 98.42. Really clean kind of stair step action down there that has me liking all of those as downside targets. I think we also have an opportunity to share the stop loss average down with the upside there at 111.74. Let me just double check that. I'd hate for us to get shaken out. It could be a little bit higher up here at 112.61. I think that still leaves a pretty decent risk reward setup. So I say give it that little bit of extra room. Let's see how that shapes our risk reward though before we lock that in. I think it should still be okay. Yeah, 1.22 to 1 risk reward still on that. So yeah, I like that. And actually that's a little bit lower. It's more like that. So 1.25 to 1, and gives the trade a little bit more room to work out. So I like that small adjustment. So we'll leave that as is. Let's set up this upside trade plan right here alongside the downside trade plan. A little overlap in these risk areas. That happens from time to time. Okay, so here's what we're looking at for MU. And you know what? Just to make this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to post 2 charts for this one. And the reason being, there's some key levels on this chart that may, like we talked about, like this could wind up being PT2, this could wind up being PT3. I don't want you guys to lose track of those levels entirely, but I want to provide something that's a little bit cleaner as far as being able to just see the levels. Also, for what it's worth, SPY plan from yesterday gapped up, topping out at our PT3 575 fib extension. Nice accuracy on that. SPY plan as always. Sometimes I even impress myself with it. All right, let's do MU. We're gonna put together kind of a, can't hear any volume. I think everybody else can hear me okay. I haven't had any complaints let me know if anybody's having any issues hearing me on either side of the house. Otherwise, Clean, you might need to like disconnect and reconnect. All right, so let's get our MU chart set up so we can post these trade plans for you guys and gals. All right, so this is what the kind of clean trade plan will look like. That way it's easy for you all to see exactly where these levels are, since there are quite a few on my chart there. It's on the 15, that's fine. Okay, cool. That looks good. So we will. All right, so here are the MU live stream plans. And again, I'm going to give you a couple charts for this. One that's clean and one that's got everything under the sun on it. And this one, it's kind of the everything under the sun. Let's grab this, post it over here. I think this is going to make it look crazy, but that's okay. Here we go. All right. There's your charts in the Discord chat and charts for the options watch list. real quick. So those who aren't watching, don't miss out on these trade plan opportunities. Want to make sure we're sharing the love with everybody in the Xtrades family. So what are we looking for here on Micron? We are looking for a break over 114.07. That should give us price targets at 118.31, 121.93, and 126.47, with a stop loss average down at 111.74. To the downside, or is that 110.99? Nope, sorry, 110.99. Take that back. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 108.70. That should give you price targets at 104.84, 101.78, and 98.42, with a stop loss average down at 111.74. Those are your MU upside and downside plans. Check your Discord audio settings. Sure, but everything on my end is good. All right, so those are the MU trade plans. We had another request from Sataru, taking a look at crowd. Let's get to that for our friend Sataru. Hope you're doing well, buddy. That's weird. I swear I've done crowd trade plans before. I do not have any support and resistance levels. I'm on my playbook. Oh, that was weird. Very delayed reaction from TradingView there. I was like, I swear I've charted crowd before. Like, where's all my stuff? Okay, well, there we go. Sometimes, yeah, I love TradingView, but no software is perfect. Let's move these down here. All right, let's clean this up real quick. I was getting worried I was going to have to start from scratch. It's like, did I accidentally delete them? Just a little lag on TradingView. Okay, well, that's good. I don't need any of these. Man, I don't need this anymore. Okay. Let's go. The previous trade plan, yeah, that sounds about right. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but I knew I had levels on it. It was just, you know, when I went to the object tree and didn't see any drawings and there was no drawings on my chart, I was starting to worry a little bit. But just a little lag, no big deal. All right. So really nice, whoops, hold here off this 285.64 NTS key buying pressure confluence. It's bounced off that, held that a couple of times. Having a little bit, I'll admit, a hard time seeing where there's a really nice continuation for the upside entry opportunity. Could be sitting right around here. 302. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, I do like this 302 level right here. It's what is likely to be our entry. Let's go back here. I was looking at this little cluster of rejections. I have a feeling this is going to put me near some of these. Yeah, it's looking a little bit lower, maybe. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I like that as a first price target. So So then my other big question though is stop loss, which looks pretty good right here actually. 295.53. Again, that's dependent upon a break over 302.11. That level then becomes significant, I believe, as needing to hold a support for continuation. First target's up here. Let's see where PT3 is going to take us over 314.19, which I'm kind of, gaps are always good things to watch or pay attention to. Those gap levels tend to form at pretty key support and resistance levels, existing support and resistance levels, I should say, or they tend to establish new ones. Little tip about finding support and resistance and using gaps to your advantage there. Yeah, I think this 322.91 looks pretty good. It's a second price target. Sorry, let's go back here. Got to the wrong part of the chart there. Third price target, definitely think we'd be greedy to shoot for anything more than this 336.64. It does look like there's a possibility to make it up there. Question is, do we have a level, anything else that kind of might be in our way between 322.91 and getting all the way up to that spot, 336? This is kind of an interesting area of resistance actually around this 330.02. So maybe this is one where we throw out like a, if you establish a free runner, maybe take a shot at getting this farther, like a PT4 essentially. Let's see if we've got any more kind of recent-ish. I think the answer is no, going back this far. Price action in this range for CrowdStrike. I think we're well beyond anything that it saw going this far back. This was COVID, so let's see if there's anything pre-COVID, but again, I don't expect there to be. No. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. So, yeah, I think we would be wise to go ahead and use this, right around this 330 as a third price target with a potential PT4 up there at 336.64. But overall, lots of profit potential on this upside trade plan. All right, downside, I think pretty clearly we'd want to see this Neptune confluence that we've tested several times, it's held several times, break. I think that gives us room down to this 275.67 base that we had before building this current base. Stop loss, again, we're filling in the blanks a little bit as we go, but I would definitely set it here. $292.31. Second price target to the downside, 269.11. There is going to be a confluence there with that 333 SMA, depending on how quickly it makes moves to the downside, if it makes moves to the downside. Below that, well, this goes back to what I said earlier. I think it could push a little lower, but there's potential for this 263.73 to be key support and bounce us from there. So instead of shooting for a couple more dollars to downside, I'm going to say go ahead and finish securing your profits at that level. So, and this has got the price action or price level spread out enough. I don't think we need a second chart for it. So let's drop this one in the chats. Well, PT3, but if you want to take a shot at PT4, it's up there for you. And then downside is going to look like this. All right. Here are your crowd live stream plans. And over here in Discord, and of course in the options watch list. Whoops. All right, so what are we looking for here on CrowdStrike? We are looking for a break below 285.64 to play for downside. That should give us targets at 275.67, 269.11, and then 263.73 with a stop loss averaged out at 292.31. That's your CrowdStrike downside trade plan. To the upside, we're looking for a break above 302.11. That should give us targets at 314.19, 322.91, and then 330.02 with a stop loss average down at 295.53. Those are your CrowdStrike trade plans done live here on the FOMO live stream. So I hope those serve you well. Let's take a look at, I saw Floki check Walmart and McDonald's. We can take a quick look at one or both of those. Let's see, Walmart. And this is going to be like slow to load my drawings, I think, because I know I've got levels. Yep. Trading view a little laggy this morning. Unusually laggy, I should say. Why are all of my drawings hidden? That doesn't make any sense. What in the world? This still doesn't look right. I'm going to try to read. Did I delete and start over with Walmart at some point? But still, this still doesn't look right. Playbook. I'm going to try refreshing this one time just to... This is not... This does not look right. Yeah, maybe it is what it is. This is very strange. Okay, well... Let's take a quick look at it then. I mean, shit, at this point, these drawings are so jacked up, I might as well just start from scratch. I don't recall starting over with Walmart, but anyway, I digress. I'm outer monologuing. That's going to be a pretty key base. I don't think we're going to see much else here on the, well, I say that. There's one, closest thing we're going to get to a weekly level. Based on how this price action has moved. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, not much else there that's been confirmed. Could be a little daily level down in there. That's probably a little bit of a better base to watch too. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Big move off this last earnings report has continued to just melt up from there. Do have a 4-hour level in there. Make sure I'm drawing these accurately. Zoom in a little bit here. Level sit more like that. And definitely looks like an attempt to flip this previous all-time high to support here as we go into the pre-market session. All right, so let's go to the hourly chart. We'll fill in the blanks. We're also going to need some trend-based fib extensions. Fortunately, we have a nice little trend here to work with. Off that weekly base. And is this, yeah, that is slightly higher. So let's get in here and get real tight on this price action right here. I'll expect to see probably our 236 fib line up with that, but we'll see. Also, as we, like I said, fill in the blanks, I think we've got level here. This has seen a lot of resistance, but no real clear support. I'm going to put this down as like a placeholder. This is a good level though, right here. Okay. So let's use what we got, I think, from this point. Lock in this Walmart trade plan with one more exception. Let's get our trend-based fib extensions mapped out here. Yeah, I think there is a level in there that I don't have yet that these fib extensions are catching right in this little zone. So that should give us some idea where to look to take profits as we make our way up through these fib extensions. All right, so what's this plan looking like? Well, I think it looks like we need to break this current all-time high to look for continuation to the upside. Another idea. I'm going to throw it out after I'm done with this. We'll talk about it in just a sec. And when I'm doing these fib extension targets, I generally like to shoot for the 0.618 after the 382. The 0.5 can be a factor, but just in my experience, and this is definitely more anecdotal than data driven, so put that in the for what it's worth category. I feel like that's just where the next key rejection happens, and then we wind up back testing the 0.5. But don't totally ignore that 0.5 fib extension there at 82.71. I would certainly say that. I think we got our, yep, that's just upside and downside, totally sorted there. Okay, so I'm gonna hide this for a second just because it tends to be, well, you know what, I'll leave it on. I'll hide it after I post the chart just in case you guys want to see which levels are which as far as these fib extensions. And of course you do have your 100% up here at 84.78. All right, so let's put our long and short tools here. We'll talk through this trade plan. When do you place the fib extension? So generally speaking, when you place the fib extension is when, you know, things are making all-time highs. It's also helpful to kind of, I think, help confirm. So if you've got it can be a little bit tricky, right? If you're still on this trend, so in other words, you haven't broken below it yet. If you're still on this trend, you may not have a confirmed kind of key all-time high to use for the measurement on the trend-based fib extension, but because I saw this breaking down below this, and again, if you're looking for projecting price targets higher than the current all-time high, you really don't have any choice than to use that existing all-time high as the spot that you're going to use to draw your trend-based fib extensions. But it is, I think it's more helpful and gives me more confidence that these levels are going to play out with some accuracy now that we've seen this trend break down a little bit. So it's kind of like a little bit more of a confirmed top, at least short-term top right there. So once you've got that all-time high, though, if that's what we're looking to break for continuation, we've got no price history to use to help determine where to set our price targets. So the only thing we can rely on is using these Fibonacci levels that we can use as an extension of this existing price action to help kind of predict untested levels of support of resistance as we push higher. Now you can also do trend-based fib extensions to the downside when things are testing all-time lows and there's still more room to, or potentially more room to go to the downside. But that's, I find myself in that scenario much less frequently than I do find myself having to draw upside fib extensions, and I think that's just because, you know, markets are technically designed to go up. So I hope that was helpful for you, David. Yeah, happy to provide any insights. Those are great questions, and if you guys ever have any questions like that while we're working on these trade plans and doing these live streams, don't ever hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to provide whatever insights I can, as long as I have insights to provide. All right, so let's go with our Walmart live stream plan to close out this week's FOMO live streams. And last but not least, in the options watch list. So what are we looking for on our Walmart live stream plan? Well, we're looking for a break over the current all-time high here at 81.60. That should give us targets at 82.20, 83.21, and 83.88, with a stop loss average down at 81.01. Again, don't forget that we do have that 0.5 fib extension in there at 82.71. That could be a potential rejection point, but again, my anecdotal personal experience, I feel like we tend to see that 0.618 kind of be the more key rejection spot once we break through that 382 level. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 80.45. That should give us targets at 79.44, 78.91, and 78.30, with a stop loss average down, shared with the upside trade plan at 81.01. Those are your Walmart upside and downside trade plans from the FOMO live stream. All right, with that, we are getting pretty close to market open. I do need to go put together the daily SPY plan for the Xtrades Discord community. Like I said, if you guys haven't already checked us out and you're watching on YouTube, come give us a shot. It is certainly a place to grow your skills as a trader, and like I said earlier, potentially move yourself up in the ranks in the community and get yourself into some of those paid tiers where the Xtrades community will pay you to share your knowledge, insights, trade alerts, and trade plans with your fellow traders in our Discord. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope you've enjoyed these live streams. Like I said, make sure to tell your friends, especially about the YouTube side of life. It's totally free to join and check those out. So if you know anybody interested in trading and isn't already in the Xtrades community, tell them to come check out these YouTube streams. That'll give them a taste of what we do at Xtrades, and we'll also hopefully give them some profitable trade plans and some quick educational moments when we see the opportunity to squeeze those in. So with that, as we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, keep your wins big, keep your losses small, go out there and get some green. I will see you guys in the chats as we close out the week. I will see you back here next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again for giving me some of your time this morning. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care. Have a great day.